This afternoon, I had a chat with Caelan Robertson, and we put up the story on the Culture Report. We were talking about David Knowles, and both he and I think that it's very suspicious that David Knowles should have died in Gibraltar. And I'll leave a link to the video at the end of this video. But now Sky have put up a report saying that people are now investigating his death, which I think is only right, because it is deeply suspicious. And I think it needs to be seen in the context of Putin's threat, which is here. I mean, look at what he says here.
Это решение будет принято, это будет означать не что иное, как прямое участие стран НАТО, Соединенных Штатов, европейских стран в войне на Украине. Это их прямое участие. И это уже, конечно, существенным образом меняет саму суть, саму природу конфликта. Это будет означать, что страны НАТО, США, европейские страны воюют с Россией. А если это так, то, имея в виду изменение самой сути этого конфликта, мы будем принимать соответствующие решения, исходя из тех угроз, которые нам будут создавать.
And I think it's worth comparing the threat of Putin with what he said at 9/11, after 9/11, when he probably thought that there was an opportunity of joining the big boys at the world table, and look at the way his eyes look to the camera, and then down and to the camera. It's very confident. And in contrast, this is a very what he does. His little threat today is very much a sort of shifty. His eyes are looking over there, down, up. It's completely unfocused. It's almost as unfocused as the very quick news conference that he gave when he was talking about the plane which the Russians had shot down over Ukraine. And he, though there needs to be an investigation, was saying, looking very shifty, looking as if he didn't want to be there, looking like a schoolboy who's been caught with an unexplained Cadbury's flake in the wrong place. And it's as if he lacks all the skills of someone like Prigozhin, who, you remember when Prigozhin's house was raided, they found all these disguises. Even with his doppelgangers, Putin doesn't really understand how to do disguises. He just looks like a sulky and a child caught in the headlights. Even if this is Putin, I have no idea. It doesn't look like the Putin from the past. I just look at these two. This is the Putin from 9/11. So different.
Не понаслышке знают, что такое террор. И поэтому мы лучше всего понимаем чувства американского народа. Обращаясь от имени России к народу Соединенных Штатов, хочу сказать, что мы с вами. Мы целиком и полностью разделяем и чувствуем вашу боль.
And then we come to David Knowles, who was not only a talented journalist, but a dedicated professional who brought clarity to one of the most challenging international stories of our time. And his contributions, particularly in a media landscape dominated by misinformation, underscored the importance of investigative journalism, and his podcast became a critical source for those seeking to understand the complexities of the war, and therefore, of course, was a target. And his work was recognized not only by listeners, but by the Russian government, which sanctioned him as part of its crackdown on foreign journalists covering the conflict. His untimely death has been a shock to many, and tributes have poured in from colleagues, political figures, listeners alike. One of his co-hosts, Dominic Nicholls, expressed deep sadness when announcing the news, reflecting on the profound impact Knowles had had both on his colleagues and the broader journalistic community. Labour MP Andy Slaughter also paid tribute to Knowles in the House of Commons, highlighting the importance of investigative journalism in today's world and calling attention to the role Knowles played in keeping the public informed. And turning to Sky News, a network with a long-standing reputation for responsible and trustworthy journalism, it's clear why many people rely on its reporting. Founded in 1989, Sky News was the UK's first 24-hour news channel, and it's maintained its commitment to accuracy, impartiality, detailed coverage of both national and international events, and its reputation for reliability stems from its rigorous editorial standards and its role in providing clear, fact-checked information in a fast-moving news environment. And it's consistently won awards for its reporting. So when Sky News, it actually, in anticipation of the BBC hasn't said anything. When Sky News, a trusted resource, says that there's a question mark now hanging over David Knowles' tragic passing, and that people are now investigating, that the authorities are looking into the problem that the Royal Gibraltar Police have said in a statement of policing mutual aid request for specialist support was submitted to the UK, to UK policing, although there was no specific concerns at this time with regard to the death. It should make sense. And then following the RGP's mutual aid request, detectives from UK counter-terrorism police have been appointed to provide support to the RGP investigation due to their existing capability and their experience of dealing with international inquiries. You know, one of the things that Caelan was saying today was the polonium T thing. It could easily trigger a heart attack. And to an untrained eye, that's what Knowles died of. We go back to Putin for a moment, as Putin likes to project this sort of macho image, I am man. And he's not really, because poison is the stuff, if you remember Lucretia Borgia, or indeed, what's the name of the person in the Claudian cycle? Claudius's grandmother. The poison is the murder weapon of women, and it's a female murder weapon, and poison is the murder weapon of choice for the FSB and for Putin. Putin has spent his life, certainly his recent life, dreaming, fantasizing about ways to kill other people, ways to kill his enemies. And so now, even if he is alive, even if he's not yet in the fridge, he's wound himself into paroxysms of anxiety about how people are going to kill him. He has food tasters. He lives in isolation. He's moved out of Rubliovka and moved into this funny little villa with his fake family. And do you know, when he goes abroad, he has a little man who collects his fecal deposits. Literally, he has a poo tin carried around with him. The President of the United States has his nuclear codes carried around him. Putin has his poo tin carried around with him, so he doesn't leave anything behind. Because he knows that if somebody left their fecal residue as a member of the FSB or the Secret Service, he would be onto that in a minute and analyze it and find a way to break the code and and attack somebody from within. It's astonishing paranoia and evil. This is a man who, I mean, I've said for a long time that I think he's dead and in a fridge. I certainly don't think the Putin that I played first is the same Putin as the Putin I played second. And they may be the same person, but they're not the same person. They've changed so much. And it may be a doppelganger. It doesn't matter, really. The Putin that we've got today has so abandoned humanity. He no longer exists. He is a Nebech. He's a shadow of himself. He is, a projection, an evil projection. And it's sad to see that in a fellow human being, I think. It's sad.